Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nala.
And I'm Faith.
And this is the Sirens Den Breakdown, theories and things you may have overlooked from the second episode of Loki.
So, as always, this is your official spoiler warning.
This episode was titled The Variant, and we just got introduced to a lot of more characters, a lot more plots, and a lot more mischief. So let's get to it. It starts out at a Renaissance festival in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
I like this part. I like this part too because it plays into the themes of deception. Because like we're open on it, and the time thing is going backwards, right? And you're like thinking it's gonna go back to like the 1400s and stuff.
And they're like 80s.
1980s. And then the one lady is like, "Some of us need this," and I was like, I loved her so much. I felt her pain. Anyone who's cosplayed knows we need this.
I feel that. Yeah, no, this was a great scene. Obviously, I'm wondering, do we know what the item that was misplaced was? Like, what called them to this timeline?
I don't think they ever found what brought them to the timeline there. Like maybe the implication was supposed to be that like she messed with something on the jousting, but if that was the case, I didn't hear. I didn't catch what it was. Yeah, maybe the variant is holding out for a hero playing. When did that song come out?
It's about the same time.
Well, anyway, the Loki, the variant, is just mind controlling people, all the Scarlet Witch, but not like the Scepter, and just taking down everybody with the help of her newly like mind controlled commanding officer. So I do, Disney has a giant budget to spend on whatever they want, and they do choose to spend on music, for a reason. And I just thought it was fun, the juxtaposition of Loki not being a hero, and how also it playing while people are dropping dead. Fun times. I'm sure how the artist wanted this song to be.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Bonnie Tyler is looking down from. She's not dead, I don't think. Bonnie Tyler's not dead, right?
I don't think so. 1984 is when it came out.
1984 when she's came out. So the probably alive Bonnie Taylor probably maybe I don't know.
Schrodinger's
There's like
Bonnie
a joke
Taylor?
about her looking down from
Bonnie Taylor.
Or
Schrodinger's Bonnie Taylor.
Bonnie Tyler, yeah. She is alive. So Bonnie Tyler is not looking down from heaven, really happy with the use of the song. But if she was dead, I'm sure she would be.
How is she looking presently at the use of this song? We'll never know, but it's interesting to find out.
I could ask her.
Do you think,
producer, can you get Bonnie Tyler on the phone so we can see how she thought of? We need to see if she thought it was used better here or in Shrek 2. The correct answer is Shrek 2. Obviously, they can't ever beat that, but it was close.
Wasn't it just in a video game trailer too, like last week?
Oh, it was. It was in. Oh God, I just watched it.
Yeah, it was like Call of Duty or some game. Yeah. But what do you think, Faith? Do you think they chose it because she's actually the hero?
That might be the subtext of it. They're kind of what we've seen in with the music in Marvel is like they kind of do like a fun combination of like there's a really deep hidden subtext here versus this is just a fun song to be playing in this moment. So who knows? I think she maybe, I mean, because we talked about this a little bit last week. I don't think the TVA are the good guys, just because of the everything about them. But so that would make sense in that context. Again, it also just could have been a Shrek reference. It's a medieval using I need a holding out for a hero. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say that it is purely a Shrek reference because that's what I hope it is. And that I feel like that would just be really fitting for the Loki show. What if that's actually the secret of Loki? Is that it's just filled to the
Shrek
brim
all along?
Shrek 2 references, yeah. The actual Loki variant they're finding is Shrek Loki.
We kind of see one, right? They show a Hulk Shrek Loki later on.
Kind of. But like a pure Shrek looking Loki, right? Like none of these knockoff Shreks. We need a knockoff Loki, pure Shrek. I I
Okay,
don't
okay,
know.
this joke's good. Thank you.
This needs to
This is
stop.
a good joke.
Thank you.
So that was fun. Obviously a great hook. We get into she kills everyone and then takes the commanding officer as a prisoner. And that leads us into the beginning of the episode, which starts out with Loki in a cubicle talking, studying and talking to Miss Minutes. I'm glad Tara Strong is back.
Glad that Miss Minutes is gonna be like a legit character within like the TVA. Um and like we kind of see with Miss Minutes, because like she has like kind of that joke about, what are you? Are you recording or are you real? And she's like, kind of both. But when Loki's throwing stuff at her on the desk, like her feet are making sound as she's like hitting and moving. Like, so she is physically interacting with that world. So she's not a hologram. She's a thing, an entity that is there. So I think that's cool. Whether or not that she's gonna be like a main character, probably not. Remains to be. I mean, maybe that'd be, which would, by the way, fantastic use of Tara Strong if they do that.
New Rockstars brought up a point. She
Oh,
is
did they?
she's first build.
Oh,
And why would
true.
she be first build over Tom Hiddleston unless she is their theory is she is the TVA. Like either they don't exist or she's the embodiment of them or something like that.
Which,
She
on one
she
hand, that makes sense. On the other hand, Tara Strong is a queen above everyone and all things. So obviously she needs the first billing.
and that's
Um,
why now you're on board with the TVA now that Tara. All right, if Tara Strong's in charge, I'm all for the
yeah,
TVA.
Tara
Also, I
Strong.
would I would absolutely love to see, the cute Miss Minutes just like go evil.
Oh,
That'd
she
be
makes
fun.
evil faces and threatens Loki and stuff like a little
Yeah,
knife.
but like super cheerfully.
I
It's really
love
fun.
it. I love it.
Anyway, going on to, just discovering more about Loki, like that's also what this episode brought. They just gave us a nice expo dump of all the different versions, not all of them, a lot of different versions that Loki has, including one where he still looks like a frost giant,
Yeah, he
and
looked
it
like a
looks like
frost
he
giant,
wasn't
like
taken
teen.
by, huh?
He looked like a frost giant, angsty teenager.
Yes.
That that made me laugh.
We also
Uh,
got Lance Armstrong, Loki.
oh yeah, Lancer.
Yeah. Excellent stuff.
One I'm naming Hulky. No, nothing. No Hulky. And,
Hulky could work. It also sounds like the ship name
uh, and
between Thor and Loki, because that exists somewhere on the internet. Or it's either that or what? Lulk?
Luke. All right, Luke.
Anyway. It's really cool to see that these different Lokis kind of come with a different subset of powers, it seems. Because we find out that this variant does have those Scarlet Witch mind control powers for another reason. Like it is green, not because she's Loki, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I think that I like that because it kind of goes into just that whoever we're gonna meet in kind of like these different timelines, they are different people. Like they're the Loki, yeah, that we kind of know, but who's kind of went down a different path, and who they can do different things, and that also means that they're gonna be acting differently, and they're not just the Loki that we know from the movies to just be like, oh, that's who this person is all the time. And just kind of be prepared for, as we meet these different Lokis, that we don't really know what we're gonna get. There's gonna be like some chaos and mischief, but ultimately they're gonna be their own characters, independent from any character development that this Loki may have had.
Well spoken.
Yeah, I can be well spoken and rant about Shrek at the same time. I one of the things I'm really liking about Loki actually is that they are making time travel different and interesting. Like I think we all know kind of time travel tropes because they're used all the time and they're not really that many of it. So it's really fun to see just like fresh concepts be introduced into this, like the disintegrate. Like, hey, also, can we talk about how those bombs are the most powerful thing in the Marvel universe? Like,
Right?
oh
Uh,
man, those are scary.
and it speaks to like the TVA's stupidity. Like if I'm a detective and I'm stealing time grenade, like someone's stealing time grenade, killing my people and then stealing the grenade, why do you think they are stealing the grenade? Like they're not
hmm
going to go do your job for you and go prune timelines. It's clearly to blow up the sacred timeline. Like clearly. And then to be several steps ahead, I believe, at least, I don't know if you girls believe, but I believe that she did it just so she can go to the TVA because now all the agents are gone trying to fix it, and she could just
100%.
walk in. Like,
Yeah,
duh.
I think Loki's about to get his meeting with the timekeepers.
One thing I loved about this episode was just seeing once again Loki get super humbled, and he's a prince, and now he's doing paperwork and like studying and like going through files and stuff in a suit.
I thought that too when it boiled down to it, right? Like, here's this guy and he's reduced to nothing. We'll get into later too when he gets really excited about like wanting to do good by Mobius. He has such a
He's
pride and a
so like,
dad complex in a way. He
yeah,
wants
that's
dad's approval, and here's his new
mhm.
father figure, and he just wants his father figure's approval. Like,
He definitely became a child. Like, do I get a gold star?
yes, yes.
Like, literally, did he not say that? Well, he should have if he didn't. It was fun. It was laid back. It wasn't too much craziness up until the end. But for now we're getting funny Loki who's just trying to figure out who like read more about these variants. Yeah, just is figuring out what their next move is going to be. Because it's also infuriating to him because they keep calling this the superior Loki. And he keeps reiterating that he, in fact, is the superior Loki. So this is fun.
So they go ahead and they have or when Mobius has his meeting with Rowena or Rovina. Is it a V or a W? So Ravonna Renslayer, who is our judge, who has met with the timekeepers. She is a character in the Marvel comics. She is a princess who falls in love and is kind of mostly associated with a character named Kang the Conqueror, who is someone that we know for a fact we are going to be getting in the third Ant-Man movies. And he starts to kind of make his appearances in this kind of time verse of the Marvel comics world. Right? His ultimate goal is he's a conqueror from the future. He's fun. But that's kind of who she's mostly associated with. As for Mobius, in this iteration though, she's not dating him that we know of. She's dating kind of Mobius, which I mean, like they're there for eternity, right? Like everyone has had to have like dated at least everyone else there at least once, right? If it's eternity. Like, man, it's the fact that like what are relationships like there? Are people like into each other? I mean, oh god, I have so many questions about the like sexual tension in the office culture at this building. Um
Speaking of sexual tension,
but
Mobius
speaking
gets
of
all
sexual
jealous.
tension, Mobius gets all jealous because he has another analyst, or she has another analyst on the side. But in the comics, Mobius is actually one of many Mobiuses. There's just a bunch of them.
Mobi, if you will.
OBI, yeah. But he's a clone. So it could be that that other person on the side is another Mobius. Um, she's just getting that different variety of the variant, as many variant Mobius is that she can get. I guess she's a type, and it's Owen Wilson.
Definitely, it has been confirmed by one of the writers in the show that Mobius will not, in fact, say "wow" at any point in this show, which is a
Thank
letdown.
goodness. Oh, I like
We're on different sides.
we are a little, yeah. I mean, I have mentioned before on the show that Owen Wilson just kind of bugs me. I mean, I never said it was a justifiable. It's just I want to fix his nose, and just that kind of that, oh wow, that kind of like that he does with his voice when he talks. It's his voice and his face, nothing about him, just
But
very
everything about
superficial
him.
reasons.
Great. Anyway,
Uh,
I like this scene. I think the tension between them is adorable. I ship it, you know, but I'm a shipper for a lot of things.
Do you ship Loki and Loki?
100%.
Yeah, let's go. Why not?
It's-
As long as it's consensual.
Yeah.
Cool.
Plus, we know that like at this point, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be actual Lady Loki.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna talk before we get to it. I love that he doesn't give two shits about the apocalypse, like, right after.
But he
Uh,
does. He low key does.
I don't know. He's like, oh yes, very
He had
sad, and like
tears.
he
He had
moved on. He
tears in
did.
his
He cried in the moment, but I don't since it didn't happen to him because now we're talking about predestiny and stuff. That doesn't happen. That's never happened. So I think that's why he doesn't care in the next scene when he's doing the salad thing and he just wants his Mobius's approval. It's just because he's so excited, like, oh yes, and he even says, like, if you go to the scene, he just goes, oh yes, very sad. Anyway, like he totally doesn't give two shits by that point. I thought that
I
was
mean, that's
cool.
why he gave two shits when his mom died.
He did give two shits when his mom died, but I think he's realizing that didn't happen.
So Loki makes a discovery after finding the file that lists the Ragnarok, that because he didn't find out that his planet blew up in the last episode. He found out that his whole family dies and he dies, but he didn't find out his home world also just went splody. But he found that out now. But that gave him the idea that if these guys are resetting timelines because a changed event can spiral into a bunch of changed events, he kind of has the thought of, well, that really can't happen if just everything in the immediate vicinity is about to just be eviscerated anyway. So he figures out that the reason they can't find this Loki variant that they're chasing is because this Loki variant is hanging out in some apocalypse, because no matter what they do, it's not going to matter because everyone's about to die anyway. And he goes to explain to Owen Wilson this series. I was laughing so hard at the scene where he does the salad is the apocalypse, and he just takes Owen Wilson's lunch and just pours a bunch of stuff on it to try and explain his point. Um,
Hilarious scene.
yeah. Yeah, I
He's
liked.
like, no, that's not Asgard. That's my salad.
Mm-hmm.
Casey comes back. It's
Yeah.
great.
They steal
But
case.
I saw this meme where it's like Thor explaining things and it's like really well thought out and like he draws it out. It's great, wholesome. And then it's like Loki explaining things. And of course, it's chaotic.
Yeah. But I also really like this theory that you can kind of hang out in a doomsday event and it's not going to change time remotely, because I've never seen or that idea explored in anything involving time travel before. Like, even like when Endgame was coming, we were kind of talking about what could happen just based off of what we know about time travel tropes, and for the most part, all of that basically is what happened. But this is a brand new idea. I've never seen in anything before. Just that there are some places in time that no matter, and it kind of also goes back into the theme of like some things are inevitable, right? Like there is a like free will versus a preset path, right? That if they're trying to like snope out all these like free set paths, the predetermined event of the doomsday like makes it so anything can happen, and there's like chaos in that order. It's, I don't know, I think it's really interesting. I think it's just a really good way to kind of explore and can advance the plot in a way that presents a time travel idea that we've never seen before, and also is thematic to what the show's message is.
Great insight. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie like that. Like I'm trying to like you were right. Like everything's something we've talked about, but if nothing matters,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
it's kind of funny to me that like in the trying to control time so that it's like these very specific events, and in like this case these very specific tragic events, they open up this place where anything and all things can happen, where it's a free for all. That within the predetermined destination, there's chaos and variance and so much that can happen. And it also might just kind of go to because we talk about how we're pretty sure the TVA isn't the good guys, even if it's run by Tara Strong. We love her, but There's just sometimes you just do bad things. Uh, but it kind of shows that they can't control time because even in as they have it so nicely tightly packed, there are holes where that chaos can happen.
When like those we bring it up a couple times in this episode, like those silly timekeepers, what are they doing? Toiling away. Like they're determining what's to come, right? So therefore time exists at the TVA. It's just different. And I think it's gonna be some high concept thing like that that's gonna prove to be the undoing in branching off into the multiverse. I don't know. They bring it up a couple times.
I another thing that was fun about this little scene is we get this payoff to the beginning of the episode about jet skis and why Owen Wilson likes them so much, which I think is wholesome and just another kind of clue, or not clue, but just look into kind of how messed up, yeah, the TVA is. Because yeah, I agree. That is probably like what the I Need a Hero subtext is about. It's not about the TVA. We're not supposed to feel bad for the TVA because they're kind of, I don't know, not good people.
We're
Like
not
to use Infinity Stones as paperweights when they have contributed to so much, destruction.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it was just a really nice scene. I really like having just said that I Owen Wilson bugs me. I really do love him in this role and what he does with it. I think he keeps his chemistry with Tom Hiddleston is amazing. And he's made this a really deep character in only 2 episodes.
Well, it's
So
their second gig together. Like they do have that like budding friendship.
mm-hmm. Um
I love when he's like they this will get we can get into it now, but like they bring back their data from Pompeii and like they're hiding in apocalypses, right? And she's like, the one that betrayed you earlier is the one that found this out. And he's like, yeah, he's doing great. Like he's all stoked.
Hilarious, hilarious. He just like brushes past that. So this gets them to, well, it gets Slayer to green light a team for them to go into a crazy apocalypse because that's probably where the variant is hiding out. And they find that the apocalypse, they go through so many apocalypses and they're all like horrible disasters, but it
they're
was
all
still not
within
the caliber.
they're all within 5 years of each other. That is all the apocalypses within 5 years on Earth. This is why I think the real the bad guy is global climate change because that's all within 5 years.
do you think do you think Disney's really gonna have the balls to make their next big villain capitalism?
Well,
Uh,
yes, because Roxcart, they show the picture of Roxcart, and in the background of that picture, there have smokestacks polluting the air, and then that sign gets smashed by the level 8 hurricane that just destroys the whole sign and like destroying the illusion of this beautiful city that capitalism can provide. So yes, I do think that's the case.
I mean, it'd be pot calling the kettle black, but yeah, I hope so. Um, I don't think Disney has any ground to speak on evil. I mean, they're the experts, so what do I know?
it really sucks because if they use their giant reach and platform to like be sending these kind of messages intentionally, awesome. But if they're not like if they don't make an effort. Oh, you're totally right.
Dude, the whole
Mhm.
background is all smokestacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And that's the sign they put
Huh.
out. So I was like, "Oh shit." So yeah,
So
Uh,
I
yeah, it takes us into Haven Hills for, basically the last part of this episode, which is when, things get super chaotic.
it's
But
massive
this is set
hurricane.
in the future.
Yeah.
What, like 30 years in the future?
yep,
Yeah,
20
not.
2050.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, is this real? Is this what we're going towards? Yikes.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Unfortunately, so something that I found really interesting is they go into this massive hurricane, right? And just how this hurricane is listed on the TVA because when Loki's going through like the different files and he finds the Ragnarok file, like it's the file and like they have like the disaster ranking, like how bad of a disaster rank is this? And it's listed as a 8 on the paper that he reads for it. But as they're going into this hurricane, the task force, the lead that oh god, what's her name? It's like N15 or I hate it when they make character by the way, I hate it when they make character names just like a letter and a number because I cannot remember I will never remember their name.
Oh, no,
I got
R2D2 is pretty easy.
But when she's prepping the team to go into this her big old hurricane, she straight up says that in the TVA disaster ranking, it is a level 10. So this is worse than the planetics of Asgard exploding. That's how bad this hurricane is.
Wild.
Yeah, a lot goes down in this warehouse. Uh B15 is like Owen Wilson and Loki, you guys are too close. You can't go off together cuz it's a Loki and that's a bad idea. And Owen Wilson's like, "But he's my buddy." And Loki's like, "Oh, that seems fair." Uh and goes off with her. But they find the missing captain that Loki got like kidnapped, who is just a mess. She's like muttering in a corner that something's real. And she revealed to this Loki that she told them where the timekeepers are. Because I guess that's common knowledge. Curious what the hierarchy, like the specific hierarchy of the TVA is, right? Because we know Judge Judge Renslayer, she talks to the timekeepers directly and is one of the few people to do so. But in this random captain revealed that she gave away to Loki the location of the time, so she knows where the timekeepers are, but she's never talked to them specifically, because the timekeepers only really talk with judges. So would she like is it just an office that like everyone knows where it was and this kidnapping was just not important? Is it a secret office that only like some select hunters get to know where it is? Or like maybe it's a security thing. Maybe it's the different hunters, they know the location, so if shit goes
Well,
down.
she was a commanding officer, so it's like,
Mhm.
I guess maybe she had special preference.
I mean, Mobius said he's never met them, and I didn't feel like Renslayer. I didn't feel like Renslayer's ever met them. I think she's just following orders too.
They said that the judges talk to them. So we know she talks to them.
But could they be talking through Miss Minutes? Because nobody's billed as a villain. There is nobody billed as a villain.
Yeah,
So,
no one is billed as the villain, but we know that, like, but they've said in the show that she talks to them, that she
mm.
has one of the few people who does. But yeah, V15 gets mindified by Loki, where they
Which
just
excellent acting on her part.
I
it
love this
really did
part.
feel like Loki talking with Loki.
Mhm.
Which but then this Loki's kind of changing from bodies to bodies. But the second body that she goes in is like the store clerk named Randy. Was that Alex Wolf? Was that was that or Nat Wolf? One of the wolves, right?
Randy's played by Austin Freeman, best known
Austin.
for Watchmen, The Walking Dead. He was Alex in The Walking Dead and not Top in Watchmen, the TV show. No,
Okay, I
I
just
don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I've seen him in something before, and I just can't place what it
The guy's
was.
shopping for azaleas. It's a hurricane sale.
Half off azaleas. But
Uh,
we get, more fighting. Obviously, stuff has been getting worse in terms of the hurricane, in terms of information being found. When Mobius, they all eventually head back because they find B15. She finds them after waking up from her mind control. And they go to find Loki, who is just being beat down, while the other superior Loki is setting up these bombs. And they think it's to trap the Minutemen and everyone and bomb them, but no, these bombs actually go in portals. And kaboom, they blow up the sacred timeline.
That sequence is so awesome. The cut to the TVA is just everything goes wrong. I was laughing really hard.
the guy
Uh,
that's like flipping through the code book trying to find the right code, and the other guy just grabs the phone from him. Someone bomb the sacred timeline. Like the whole
Yeah, I
sequence was
love that
fun.
part because it was just like, yeah, cut directly to it. Someone bombed the sacred timeline. This is serious. Yeah, so yeah, that was just all this bomb was literally dropped on us in episode 2, and there's more episodes yet to come, so it's just going to get crazier from here.
Yeah,
Like, this
Loki's already.
obviously has ramifications.
Mhm.
And obviously this is where the reveal happens that it is in fact Lady Loki, but we don't think it is in fact Lady Loki. But instead Enchantress.
Yeah, I really think that the Loki that we're seeing, I do. I think it's going to be kind of a blend of the character of Enchantress and the character of Lady Loki. I think it's not necessarily going to be like this person was born Sylvie and they have all and they just thought it was Loki. I think it's going to be Loki took a path that led her to becoming Enchantress. Like that'd just be the easiest way to do it. We think that this is Sylvie because two things. One, in the credits for every other language in this, the actress is listed as Sylvie. Like that's who she's just credited as in the credits. So that's pretty telling. And then also with this, we know that Loki goes through in when he's like just searching for anything earlier in the episode, does list a Loki variant named Sylvie Laufey Doltier.
Hilarious. Very, very subtle. But that brings us to the end of the episode. The Mobius and B15 show up just as Lady Loki opens up a portal and Loki decides to follow her in for more chaos. But yeah, I think just like we've been saying, I think we will maybe either meet the timekeepers or be explained more about, where they are and how they operate. But blowing up the sacred timeline, they have a lot on their hands now. So I think we're going to be getting into some more intense things.
Yeah, like the fact that this timeline that all time exists in, and it's this all powerful force that was established last episode. This episode, that's been bombed. And we have 4 more episodes to go of this thing. So Loki's about to go off the. And also, I'm thinking about it. Most of the main things that we've seen from the trailer or that we've been looking for, we've seen in these first 2 episodes. So I really have no idea what we're about to go into.
Well,
Just
we'll find out more answers in the next episode of Loki, which I'm very excited to see.
tell us what you thought of episode 2 in the comments or send us an email at sirensdenpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you to Ty, our producer, and to Sean Thomas at Buzz Studio for our theme.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye!
Bye.